Paths of the Titans. And what we want to do with this feature is reward character progression at max level. What happens is you get Wrath of the Lich King, you're jamming out your levels, you get 10 levels to go, it's really, really fun, you're like constantly improving, new abilities, new ranks, new talent points, then you hit 80, and it really slows down. And, you'll get loot, whether you raid or PvP, you'll slowly improve your loot over time, but basically that really fun period of leveling up has kind of come to a stop. And one way to do that is just keep making more and more levels. Hey, maybe Cataclysm gives you 15 or 20 new character levels. That would give us a headache. So instead, we wanted to come up with a system that rewards progression at max level without having to necessarily go into more talent points, more abilities. So the main reward for the paths is to unlock a new type of glyph called an ancient glyph. Now, these glyphs work a little differently than the glyphs you're used to from your class glyphs. We're really happy with what Inscription has done, and we think the glyphs have added some depth to the game, but we also think the feature's not 100% there. We've always thought it had a little more potential we could milk out of it, and so we're kind of uniting that with the path system here. They're themed for the Titans, and they're not at all part of the Inscription profession. So Inscription will continue to make your class-specific major and minor glyphs. Ancient glyphs is from an entirely new mechanic here. And one of the exciting things about the paths is they're not class-specific. There's not a rogue path to follow. You guys can debate as long as you want about what's the best path for rogues, and we're all cool with that. But one of the exciting parts is that you can mix and match the specific path you choose to follow with the talent trees you already have. So the Cataclysm is a time of great upheaval, right? I mean, zones are changing. What everyone thought they knew about the world is kind of eroding. And so in this time of turmoil, people are turning to new sources of power. And one of the things that we've learned from Old War is we've learned a little more about the existence of the Titans. And so these cults have sprung up throughout Azeroth, and they'll probably particularly be focused in the new zones, places like the Twilight Highlands. You can choose to align yourself with one of these cults, and in return, you can progress down a path. I'll talk a little bit more about that. And then as you progress down the path, you're getting these new ancient glyph sockets. And ultimately, you get new ancient glyphs to put in the sockets. So one of the cool points about this is you earn these ancient glyphs through archaeology. So as you're leveling up, archaeology is giving you cool things, perhaps new items, new vanity pets. You can trade some stuff in for gold and things like that. But then once you hit level 85, you can start using archaeology to trade into these cults, and in return, they'll give you the glyphs that you'll use, which I just said. And one of the cool things is, kind of like with your class glyphs, you have choices. Even though you pick a particular path, you still have choices of what glyph you want to put in that slot. So if you're a healer, maybe you want a healing glyph. Maybe there isn't always a healing glyph at every point along the path, though. And of course, you can respec. You're not locked into any of these decisions. You have to unlock them originally, but once you do, you can tie it to dual spec or whatever you want. So these are 6 of the known Titans of Azeroth, and 6 of the paths that we might introduce when Cataclysm goes live. You're probably familiar with several of these names. Ooh, shiny. I guess what we have here is an undead druid, which we are not officially announcing in any way, shape, or form. So in the middle are your class glyphs, and we think we're going to go ahead and change the UI to actually reinforce what talents or abilities the glyphs are affecting. We know it can sometimes be confusing to look at a really cool-looking artistic symbol, but not necessarily know if that is your glyph of lacerate or your glyph of swipe or whatever. So I don't know that this color palette is final. It's probably not, but you get the basic idea. There's a big claw in the middle because you're a feral druid, and you have 6 of your class. The gold ones are the major, and the blue ones are the minor glyphs. And now around the outside are the new path glyphs. When you start out at level 80, you won't have any path glyphs. You won't get any of them all until level 85. This is all maximum character level progression stuff. And then slowly over time, you'll earn these new glyphs. You can see We go all the way up to rank 10. I don't think we'll offer rank 10 when Cataclysm first ships, but one of the things we think is cool is to gradually unlock new ranks over time. So when patch, I guess it would be 4.1 or 4.2 would come out, one of the bullet points might be now you can achieve rank 8 in your path. We'll also theme the UI, and maybe even the path itself will change shape depending on which Titan you're aligning yourself with. This is the, lots of lightning here for Golganath. Now, here's some examples of the actual glyphs you'll unlock. Remember, these have to be, I don't want to say generic, but they're not going to be class specific. They're not going to be modifying your Sinister Strike, for example. They have to be things that might benefit different types of classes. So an example of a rank 1 glyph here is reducing the duration of bleed and stun effects, which can obviously be useful in certain situations. Here's a rank 2 example. Bandages heal targets by additional amount. But if you don't like that one, you can take the Fortification talent instead, which is a clicky ability with a longer cooldown but instant that lets nearby allies take less damage for a little bit. So you can see these are game-changing in some sense. Once you get these, you're going to have a couple more abilities you didn't have before, and you're going to have access to different power you had before, but not a whole new level. And then here's an example of a rank 3. You can see they're getting a little more powerful here. Increases the damage dealt following a critical strike. So you can see a lot of DPS classes might want this, but those with high crit might want it more than others, and say a healer or tank might not find this one as attractive. They might have another glyph they can pick instead in rank 3, or they may choose a whole new path instead. Now, one of the things that's important is everyone eventually gets their